Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Let's Play Warframe. I'm your host with the most, as always, Francois878, and today we're going to be talking about the brand new Corpus Boom Boom Bow that was released in update 21.3, the Lenz. Now, while this weapon does not win any awards for its name, it is possibly one of the most fun weapons I've ever been able to use. It's definitely one of my favorite bows. I've still got a soft spot for the Dread, but man, this weapon is just fun. It may not be as good as the Dread in, let's say, endgame levels, but the Lenz is just a ton of fun to use, period. Now, some basic stats. It is a clan tech item. You will have to research it in the Corpus Energy Lab, but the research requirements are not bad, so you don't have to worry about it too much. The basic stats for this weapon are a little complicated as well. It deals 50 impact damage, no slash, no puncture. It deals 10 cold damage and 660 blast damage. It's kind of wild how this weapon works, and I'll get into that in a moment. But it has a 50% crit chance. That's one of the highest crit chances in the game. In fact, it's tied for the most amongst primary weapons. It has a 2.0 crit multiplier, a 5% status chance with a fire rate of 1 round per second, and a charge time of 1.2 seconds. Now, the way this weapon works is that the arrow will be fired. If you hit an enemy, they will be automatically hit with an impact proc. Impact procs stagger enemies when they happen, which is actually really nice for this bow because that means they're not going anywhere. And I'll get into that here in a second. Once that impact proc happens on an enemy, or if you shoot the ground, a bubble of cold will blast out from the arrow about 7 meters wide. Everything in that area will be procced with cold. About a second after that, an explosion will happen, and that will deal all of the main damage on the bow, whatever elemental damage you happen to have, as well as the blast. Now, this weapon is absolutely ludicrous, and I love it. The build I have for you guys today is a pretty basic bow build: serration, heavy caliber, and split chamber. And I know what you're gonna say: heavy caliber on a bow, that's sacrilegious. Listen, you're not going for headshots with this bow. I would recommend that you not go for headshots with this bow, because if you try and do that, if you try and perfectly time out every shot, it's not going to be as much fun. I guarantee it. What you need to do with this bow is go for body shots, and if you can't go for body shots, just shoot the damn ground. Alright, the main damage from this bow is the AoE blast at the end. That's your main focus. Alright, if you need to lead an enemy so that they walk into the AoE of the blast, then that's what you need to do. Alright, you're not going for headshots. And the heavy caliber accuracy decrease is not bad enough that I would find myself killing myself randomly because an arrow stuck in a door frame or something. It's just the accuracy isn't that bad. So I would say take that extra 165 damage and go to town. Now, I have speed trigger on this bow. Bows get double fire rate from fire rate mods, which is great. I would absolutely recommend some sort of speed trigger or shred, or if you have Prime Shred, if you're lucky enough to have gotten that login reward already, I would recommend Prime Shred, because the difference between Speed Trigger and Prime Shred is like 5% or 10%, really. So I would recommend that 100%. The 1.2 seconds to me personally feels a little long, and you can really spam out the arrows a lot faster with speed trigger, which means that missing an arrow or missing a group of enemies isn't nearly as dangerous. So that is, again, that's up to you guys. These are merely suggestions. For the final 4 mods, I've got 2 elemental mods, both 90% for the extra damage, and I have, of course, Point Strike and Vital Sense for my crit chance and crit damage. Now, crit chance on this weapon with Point Strike is 125%, so you will be hitting those beautiful orange procs occasionally. The the crit multiplier for this weapon is 2.0, so with Vital Sense it'll be 4.4. It deals a heavy amount of damage. It is nice. Now, a lot of people have been seeing a lot of builds online with 60% elemental damage, 60% status chance mods. Even if you have 4 of those mods on this weapon, even with multi-shot, you're not going to get above a 25% status chance. It's just really not worth it, to me personally. This weapon is not about status effects. It's not going to carry you through level 4, 5, 600 level enemies. This is a really fun weapon to use. I would say max sortie level enemies, and that's just about it. You know, the status chance for this weapon isn't good enough, even modded, for you to be able to use it at that caliber of enemy. But if that's what you want to do, try it out. let me know how that works for you, honestly, because for me personally, I just don't see 20% status chance as being worth it. Maybe because of the AoE, you're averaging a decent amount of status effects, but I personally don't see it. Overall, the design of the bow is really great too. I'm glad to have another longbow. Oh, real quick before I leave, the charge for this weapon, because it is a longbow like the Daiku, you do have to charge the arrow 100% before you can fire it. It's not like the short bows, the Paris Prime and the Dread, that you can just fire, you know, at 50% charge and just take the damage reduction. You do need to have it completely charged. But thank you guys very much. I appreciate you. Let me know what you guys think of the lens down in the comment section down below. And until next time, I've been your host of the most, as always, Francois878, signing off.